we're going to make this composite. Okay, this is made up of, I don't know, I think around 5 or 6 images. Okay, and the idea is to make it look as natural as possible, as if it is one image. Okay, so to start this, we would need to go to Photoshop. Okay, and we're going to open the image called peer. Let me find it. Here we are. Right, we're going to start with the image called peer, and we're going to press open. As you notice, it's quite a different image. The sky is different, okay? The general atmosphere is different. So we would need to do quite some editing on this. All right, Mela, let's open the other image as well. We have an image called sunset sky. Okay, I'm going to open it, and that's this one, sunset sky. Okay, and you'll notice that this is a much nicer sky. It's not the image that we want. Okay, so we would use that sky for here, essentially. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to select the whole thing. So to select, either you go from this rectangular marquee and you need to do it from beyond the edges like this, or else you press Command A. Command A is the shortcut for select all. Okay, so once we did select all, and everything is selected, we need to copy it. So either edit copy, as I said before, or Command C. We go here and we need to paste it. Once again, either edit paste or Command V. And we'll have the image here. Alright? So obviously, you'll notice that like this, it's covering the whole thing. We can't really match anything. It doesn't make sense. We can't use it as it is. So we would need to start by reducing the opacity. Okay, make sure that that's selected. And I'm going to reduce the opacity a bit so I can see what's underneath. Okay, I put 71. And like this, I'm going to start matching the horizon of the second image with the horizon of the first image. Okay, I'm moving it, I'm just dragging it using the move tool here. All right, I'm holding the shift so I can move in a straight line. And I would like to match it with the horizon. Okay, so you'll notice that the horizons are not exactly matching. Okay, it's a bit, one of them is a bit slanted. So I'm going to use the free transform to change a bit to kind of rotate it slightly. So free transform, either edit free transform or Command T. Okay, so I can rotate it very, very slightly so it kind of matches better. Right? So you don't need to obsess about this. It's going down. Let's match it the best we can, and that's it. All right. So something like this. Right, Mela, at this point, we can put it back to 100. Okay. Notice, obviously, we can't keep it like that. We would need to make a mask, all right? Because we would need to kind of blend it. To make a mask, as I said before, we would need to click on this one. Make sure that the sunset is selected. Okay, so click on this, and now we have a mask. So the mask, we can't, just start painting, and because it will look like we cut it with scissors or something, which would not make sense. So instead, we're going to use a gradient. So gradient is here, okay? If it's not here under the eraser, like click on it and hold it, and you get to select it from this mini menu. Okay, select gradient tool, and from up here, we will need to choose black and white. All right, you see it's black, and here it's white. You can even go from here. Mela, the important thing is that it's linear, okay, not circular. Click on this one, the first one, linear, so we can make it kind of blended, so to speak. Now, let's see. Okay, it's black. Well, I'm going to start from the bottom and drag to the top. Okay, I just noticed because this was set to screen. Okay, make sure it's normal. That's why it wasn't. Voila. All right. We have everything like that. The gradient linear. Going to start from here, go up, and you'll notice, you see? Now it's blending. Obviously, it's not blending as much as I would like it. So I'm going to keep doing it until it's one that I like. For example, something like this. You see how it's blended? And here you can see that the mask, there's a gradient applied to it. The bottom is black, the top is white, and in the middle it's gray. That's the gradient itself. Right? And it looks very, very natural like this. It doesn't look like it's two images. Obviously, if you don't like the first one, keep trying until it looks good and you're happy with the result. We need it that it looks very natural, as if that sky belongs to this. All right, this is, by the way, the common way to change the sky. All right, this is used very often as soon as you see some romantic sky attached to an image. Usually they change the sky using this method. Okay, the gradient and the mask. Mela. All right, so the first part is done. We already have a nicer sky. Mela, now we would need to insert that building. All right, Mela, to insert that building, once again, we can do place embedded actually, and that is called door. Mela, place it in the image, and it's going to be placed directly here. Right? So you'll notice, you see this part next to it? That's because it's a smart image. So if, for example, I select part of it and try to delete it, you see it will not let me. Mela, to start editing it, we will need to rasterize it. Mela, I will go into details of what is raster and things like that later on. Okay, for now, don't worry about it. Just follow what I'm saying on this. So make sure that door is selected. We're going on layer, rasterize, rasterize smart object. Okay, and that's it. Now that thing is gone, and now, for example, we can edit it. Obviously, we're not going to delete it like that. All right, so we have our door. This is going to become, like, let's say, our temple. Okay, so we can do it with a mask, or we can directly delete the parts we don't want. Okay, let's do it by deleting them. We can go on quick selection. Okay, once again, make sure that it's on the plus, and we can start by selecting the red. Don't try to select everything at once, because it will make your life a living hell, essentially. Okay, so start slowly. Okay, ignore these parts for now, then we'll delete them later. And go slowly to add these parts and delete what we don't want. All right, for example, here we also don't want this part as well. As I said, the more you try to do at once, the more difficult it is. Well, for example, and remember, you will need to zoom in sometimes. Obviously, we don't want this guy with the camera, whatever that is. Mela, for example, here, I would get a bunch. If I just click, you see, the things that I want to keep will be selected as well. But to remove a selection, by the way, Command D or Control D, all right? Like that, you remove the selection. For example, for here, it's important that we reduce the size of the brush. Otherwise, we're going to end up selecting everything which we actually want to keep. Okay, so remember square brackets to increase and decrease. And like this, you can select like this. Okay, don't go crazy about some details. That's not even going to show. And it's also not kind of the purpose of this. Like that. And here as well. But to delete them, I'm pressing the back button. Okay, the undo backwards, I don't know what you call it. That's kind of the world's easiest shortcut, right? Okay, and this part. And that's pretty much it. And you'll notice that we get these stupid things left over. We're going to clean them up quickly. Mela, don't worry about these. Really. Mela, what we need to worry about are these lines at this point. Alright? And for that, we're going to use the eraser. Okay? So click on the eraser. And you can just go on them like this. And remove anything that doesn't make sense, you know, to stay in the image. Usually those lines left over, you see, like for example here. Also, Mela. Yeah. Nothing, I thought that, but I thought that my eraser was not 100%. So it stays showing. But no, it's a soft eraser. It's best that you always use the soft one. When it's very hard, it tends, for example, when you do it close like this, tends to kind of cut out the image and make it look very unnatural, almost ridiculous. Okay, so avoid hard brushes for these things. For example, I can go on there. This part is not great. Alright, do we have anything else here? Here, it's fine. These little tiny things you can fix a bit. And there we go. Here as well. Essentially the parts where the color algorithm of the quick selection tool doesn't catch. It's okay, it happens. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, now you're wondering what to do with this, you know, we can't have this guy in the middle. For that, that's the easiest thing. We're just going to go with the rectangular marquee tool. Okay, because it's a rectangle, that's easily done like this. We're just going to drag, select the image and delete that. Okay, here, for example, there's a little bit of the door left, and I'm going to remove that as well. Like I said, don't obsess. Alright, and this one we can remove with the circular marquee tool. So the circular marquee tool requires a bit of playing around. Because for example, when you start it from here, for example, to become the size of the circle, you'd need to start it from here. You see? So for example, I would do it like this, and then move my selection with the arrow buttons, so it's more kind of encompassing of what I need to delete. Okay, for example, I'm not very happy with that, so I'm going to do it again. And once again, I move it around with the arrow keys, and that's it. Okay, so that's my selection. There's a bit of ridiculous things going on here. I don't really need to worry about them because they're going to be cut off anyway. Alright, so now we need to resize this. Now, to resize it, I'm going on the Move tool, and I'm going to do Free Transform again. Like I said, either Edit Free Transform or Command T. I'm going to resize it and place it, let's say, something like this. That's a good place, okay? Leave it a bit below the horizon, so remove it, and like that, this part will look quite natural. And that's it for now. Okay, I'm going to be continuing this in part 2 because I can't record for long.